Maybe you felt it before, that quiet voice inside that says, I am. It's so familiar, so immediate, it doesn't even need to be spoken. It's right there behind every thought, every feeling, every choice. And because it feels so constant, we rarely pause to wonder, what exactly is this I? It seems solid, doesn't it? Like it's the center of everything, the one watching, choosing, remembering, reacting. But have we ever actually found it? Really seen it? Or do we just assume it's there because experience needs a center? Maybe it's okay not to know. Maybe it's okay to let the question linger. The Buddha once asked the same question, not to confuse us, not to frighten us, but to open a door to freedom, maybe even to a lighter way of living. He noticed that believing in a separate, lasting self can create craving, fear, suffering. Because when this imagined I feels threatened, when its desires aren't met, pain arises. Our anxieties, our pride, our attachments, they orbit around this center we can't really see. And what if that center doesn't exist the way we think it does? Maybe it's not a thing at all, but a habit of mind, a story we keep telling ourselves. You might be wondering, so what am I then? Maybe the answer is a little surprising. The Buddha suggested we look closely, not believe blindly, but notice. He said what we call a person isn't one single thing. It's a flow of 5 parts that are always changing. Our body, our feelings, our perceptions, our impulses, and our awareness. None of these are permanent. None of them stay the same long enough to be called me. Your body ages. Your feelings come and go. Your thoughts and habits shift from moment to moment. Even consciousness isn't constant. It arises and disappears with conditions. So if we say, I am this body, this feeling, this thought, we be claiming permanence where there is none. And yet, even when we notice all this, the sense of I can still cling. It whispers, I'm here. The mind likes stories, and it likes to make a character out of experience. A sound becomes my annoyance. A sight becomes my pleasure. The moment we experience something, the mind jumps in to narrate it. This is not something to fight. It's just how minds work. Maybe it's okay to see it for what it is, a pattern, a habit, a way the mind organizes reality, like a gentle story, not a fact carved in stone. Seeing this doesn't mean nothing exists. Life still exists, feelings still come, people still matter. It's not about nothingness. It's about noticing that the me we cling to isn't really separate from everything else. Like a wave is part of the ocean. It moves, it rises, it falls, but it's never truly alone. Maybe that's a hint of freedom. Maybe we can start to rest in the flow instead of holding on so tightly to the idea of self. And, hey, if this little whisper of insight resonates with you, it's okay to take it slow, step by step. Maybe even consider subscribing so we can explore these ideas together, gently, one moment at a time. Because this isn't a race. And it's not about knowing everything. It's about noticing, being curious, and maybe, just maybe, finding some quiet peace in the not knowing. Maybe now you're wondering, if there's no solid I, then what am I made of? And it's okay if this feels a little strange. We're used to thinking of ourselves as one unchanging thing. But what is more like a process, a flow, a gentle river that never stays the same? The Buddha invited his first students to look closely, not to believe, not to guess, but to see directly. He said, notice the body, the feelings, the perceptions, the impulses, the awareness. They shift and change all the time. That's the real you, not some permanent hidden self. Look at your body for a moment. It breathes, it moves, it grows, it ages. Every cell, every heartbeat, is changing. Maybe it's okay to admit that the body can't be the stable me we imagine. And then there are feelings, pleasure, pain, neutrality. They appear, they linger briefly, then they're gone. Joy turns into boredom. Sadness fades into relief. If we say, I am my feelings, then we are constantly being born and die with each little shift. It's exhausting, isn't it? Maybe that's why the mind clings so tightly. It's afraid of losing something that never really stays. Then there's perception, the way we label and interpret everything. We see a tree, we call it a tree. We meet a friend, we recognize a face. But perceptions shift too. What we loved yesterday may feel distant today. What scared us might feel harmless tomorrow. If perception changes, maybe it's okay to wonder if it can be the unchanging self. It's like mistaking the words on a map for the land itself. They're useful, but not the whole story. Thoughts and impulses, our mental habits, form another piece of the puzzle. We like to believe we're choosing our thoughts, but most arise from conditions we barely notice. Our upbringing, our mood, our surroundings, countless invisible causes. Even choices, those moments we feel most in control, are shaped by something bigger. Maybe that's okay too. Maybe freedom isn't about forcing control, but noticing the patterns gently without judgment. And consciousness, the knowing, the awareness, it's not some constant light shining behind everything. It comes and goes, appearing dependent on conditions, like a reflection in a mirror. When a sound meets your ear, there's awareness. When a sight meets your eye, there's awareness. But there's no permanent I sitting behind the scenes. Just moments of rising and passing. Maybe noticing this softly, without trying to fix it, is enough to start loosening the tight grip on me. So, what we find when we look at all of this, body, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, consciousness, maybe what we call me is really just a system, a chain of events, a flowing story. Changing too fast to hold, too empty to own. And maybe it's okay that it's not solid. Maybe it's even beautiful that life is this lively, shifting, delicate process. You don't have to push or fight it. You don't have to force an answer. Just notice, softly, like listening to a whisper, like feeling the wind move through the trees. And if this quiet exploration feels meaningful, maybe pause for a moment and consider subscribing. Not because I have the answers, but so we can keep walking this path together, noticing, exploring, softly, step by step. It's okay if you don't get it all. The journey isn't about rushing to a destination. It's about resting in the flow, watching the river of experience without holding it too tightly. Maybe even letting yourself float along for a while. Even after noticing that me is really a flow of body, feelings, thoughts, and awareness, you might still feel that small, persistent I lingering. Maybe it's okay, it's normal. The mind is used to centering everything around a narrator, a main character. When we hear a sound, it's not just a sound. It becomes my annoyance, my delight. When we see something, it's not just a tree or a face. It becomes mine, part of my story. This is how the mind works. And maybe it's okay to just notice it without judgment. The Buddha called this process mental proliferation. The way the mind takes simple experiences and weaves them into a story about me. You hear laughter, and the mind whispers, "That's about me." You feel pain, and it says, "I am suffering." Even after seeing that the self is not solid, the mind keeps trying to put it together, like a novelist inventing a protagonist for a plot that doesn't exist. And maybe it's okay to let the mind do this without needing to own it. Just watch it softly, like noticing clouds drifting across the sky. Modern science seems to agree in its own way. There isn't a single you sitting in your brain, pulling the strings. What we feel as me is an emergent process, a story created by networks of neurons working together. Memories, imagination, sensations, all weaving together into the sense of a main character. The philosopher Daniel Dennett called it the center of narrative gravity. It's helpful for living, yes, but it's not a solid, permanent self. Maybe it's okay to see it as a kind of clever illusion, a friend that keeps the story coherent but doesn't really exist as a thing. And seeing this doesn't mean that nothing exists. Life still exists. People still matter. Experiences still happen. You can still feel love, joy, and connection. But the anxious gripping, "this is about me" voice softens. The tight clutch on identity eases. You realize the wave is real, the ocean is real, and the wave doesn't need to pretend it's separate to exist. Maybe life itself feels lighter when you notice this, maybe even a little sweeter. It's okay to take it slow. No need to rush. No need to force a realization. Just observe, softly, like listening to a quiet story that's unfolding around you. Let yourself rest in the noticing. Let yourself float in the space where I is just a gentle pattern, not a commander, not a master. And if you feel like sharing this journey, maybe consider subscribing so we can keep walking together softly, gently, noticing the way life really flows. Maybe by now you've started noticing how much the mind loves to hold on. Even when we see that the self is just a story, the grip lingers. Thoughts, feelings, memories, they tug at us, insist that we are real, that we matter, that we have to protect me. And it's okay. It's natural. The mind is like a child holding a favorite toy, scared to let it go. Maybe you can just watch it softly, without needing to push it away or fight it. Maybe you can whisper to yourself, "It's okay." You don't have to cling so tightly. When we look closely at our experience, a subtle truth begins to appear. The mind doesn't start with "I am." I comes after the fact. A sound arises, a feeling appears, and then, almost automatically, the mind says, "This is mine, this is me." Like a novelist adding a character to a story, our mental habits create the self to make life feel coherent. And maybe it's okay to notice this pattern, to see it for what it is, without trying to dismantle it through sheer force of will. It's a gentle process, really. The Buddha didn't tell people to believe in this, or to argue themselves into freedom. He offered a practice, a way to see clearly, softly, without judgment. The path begins with small things. Ethics or mindful living isn't about guilt or rules. It's about creating calm in the mind. When we stop harming others, stop creating chaos inside or outside, the mind becomes quieter. And in that quiet, we begin to notice how the story of me arises, how it clings, how it spins. Next comes attention, concentration, not forcing thoughts away, not controlling them, but gently resting with them, watching them, breathing with them, letting them flow past. In these moments, you may notice something subtle, thoughts, feelings, even the sense of I, come and go on their own. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to claim them. And maybe it's okay to just let them drift like leaves on a stream without gripping them. And then comes wisdom, not the kind that's learned from books, not the kind that comes from clever reasoning, but the quiet knowing that appears when attention softens, when the mind stops grasping. You look at your feelings, your thoughts, your perceptions, and you see they are not fixed. There is no solid self at the center. The wave is not separate from the ocean. The breeze is not separate from the air. Maybe this is a kind of freedom that feels small, soft, and gentle, but undeniable. It doesn't hit like a lightning bolt. It doesn't explode with cosmic fireworks. It whispers, a quiet falling away. The mind stops clutching, not because it was told to, not because of reasoning, but because there is nothing left to cling to, and in that gentle letting go, something else appears, a sense of space, a feeling of openness. Life feels lighter, less burdened by the constant push of, I must be this, I must protect that. You still live, you still care, you still move through the world, but with a soft ease, like floating in a river instead of fighting its current. Maybe it's okay to feel a little uncertain, a little afraid. Let it be okay. The mind will test you, tug at old habits, whisper that I is real. It's normal. You don't have to banish the whisper. Just notice it. And with each noticing, each gentle observation, the grip loosens just a little. Maybe over time, the story of me begins to dissolve into something larger, something softer, something freer. And if this quiet journey resonates, maybe consider subscribing, not to be told what to think, but to walk softly together, to share a little space for noticing, for pausing, for being. Because this is not about rushing or achieving. It's about resting. Resting in the flow of life. Resting in the gentle unfolding of experience. And maybe, just maybe, letting yourself float for a while without needing to hold on at all. Maybe now you're noticing how much of life is just patterns, thoughts, feelings, sensations, memories. They rise and fall like waves, over and over endlessly. And it's okay to see that. You don't have to push it away or make it stop. The mind likes to hold on to me like it's fragile, like it needs protection. But maybe it's okay to let it rest. Let it float. Let it notice itself without gripping. Just breathe and watch softly. Sometimes it feels strange to imagine there's no solid self at the center. Maybe it even feels a little scary. Who am I, if not that I've carried all my life? But maybe freedom is in the letting go, not losing yourself, but noticing that the story of me is just that, a story. The breeze doesn't cling, the river doesn't hold itself together, and maybe neither do we. We can be part of the flow without needing to anchor ourselves in a fixed identity. Our mind loves to spin stories. A glance, a sound, a memory. Suddenly it's my happiness, my pain, my success, my failure. And it's okay. It's natural. The Buddha called this mental proliferation, the endless weaving of me into everything. But maybe just noticing it softly is enough. Maybe just letting the mind do its storytelling while you watch, quietly, is enough. The moment you stop clinging, the story loses its grip and you feel a little lighter. Even your choices, your intentions, even what you call your decisions, they arise from countless causes, conditions you barely notice. And maybe it's okay to see that, too. Freedom isn't always about control. Sometimes it's just about noticing the patterns without fighting them, like watching leaves drift down a stream. The current moves. The leaves move. You don't have to be the one pushing them along. Maybe that's enough. And then there's the quiet noticing, the real intimacy with life. Not the I watching, not the me controlling, but the soft awareness that simply witnesses. Feelings come, thoughts come, memories come, and they go. The mind doesn't need to grasp them. You don't need to own them. Maybe you can just be the space where they appear and disappear. Maybe that's what it means to be free. It's a gentle path, really. The Buddha didn't demand belief. He suggested observation. Step by step, moment by moment. Ethics first, not rules, not guilt, but creating calm, stillness, clarity. When the mind is entangled in harm, resentment, regret, it's soft enough to see. Then concentration, steady attention, not controlling, not forcing, just being, And then wisdom, the quiet, unfiltered scene that reveals softly that the self isn't what you thought it was. It's not gone. It's just not fixed. It's a process, a story, a flowing pattern. Maybe this is hard to imagine. Maybe you feel like clinging will protect you. That's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Notice the grip, notice the tug, and whisper softly. It's okay. You don't have to hold on so tightly. With practice, with softness, the grip eases. The story of me begins to dissolve, not forcefully, not dramatically, but quietly, gently, undeniably. And if you feel a little lighter, maybe curious to see more, maybe pause and consider subscribing. Not for rules or answers, but for gentle guidance. Quiet noticing, shared moments on this soft path. It's not a race. It's not a goal. It's about resting in life as it flows, noticing it fully, step by step, moment by moment. And maybe, just maybe, letting yourself float freely, without needing to be anything at all. Maybe by now you started feeling it. The subtle shift, the soft loosening of that tight, clinging It's not dramatic. It's not sudden. It's like noticing the light changing a room, slowly, softly, quietly. Thoughts come and go. Feelings rise and fall. The mind still likes to weave its story, but you begin to see the gaps, the spaces in between. Maybe it's okay to linger there, in the quiet spaces, without needing to fill them with a character called me. Even the body, the first piece of the story, shows you impermanence. Breathing, moving, growing, aging. Every cell, every heartbeat is shifting, renewing, letting go. It's okay to notice this without fear. You don't have to cling to the idea that this body is who you are. It's not fixed. It's a pattern, a flow, like clouds moving across the sky. And maybe seeing that softly, without judgment, is the first taste of freedom. Feelings, too, are gentle teachers. Pleasure comes and goes. Pain comes and goes. Even joy is fleeting. When we see that feelings are not permanent, that they arise and disappear like waves, maybe we stop identifying so tightly with them. Maybe we stop saying, I am happy, I am sad. We just notice them, gently, like listening to music that plays and fades. It's okay to rest in that noticing. Perceptions, the way we label the world, also shift constantly. Something we loved yesterday might feel distant today. Something we feared may feel harmless tomorrow. The mind wants to anchor these perceptions to me, but maybe it's okay to let them drift. Maybe you can rest in the awareness that sees the change without needing to claim it. Maybe that is part of the softness of letting go. And thoughts, intentions, habits, they arise from countless causes. You didn't create them alone. You didn't control all the conditions. And that's okay. Maybe freedom is not about controlling everything, but noticing softly what arises and letting it pass without clinging, like leaves drifting down a stream or wind brushing across the surface of water. You don't need to hold on to them. You just notice. Even consciousness, the sense of knowing, is not fixed. It appears when conditions arise and fades when they disappear. There is no constant I sitting behind the scenes. Maybe it's okay to rest in that awareness, to notice it without needing to own it, without needing to make it permanent. Maybe that soft noticing is itself a kind of gentle liberation. And the mind, the one that loves to create stories of me, can be observed too. You can watch it spin its narratives, its attachments, its anxieties, without needing to be caught in them. Maybe you can even smile softly at the way it works, and just let it be, like watching a play unfold from the balcony, instead of being the actor on stage. It's okay if this feels strange or uncertain. The mind will test you. Old habits will tug at you, whispering that you must cling to me. But maybe it's okay to notice that tug and just let it pass. To whisper softly to yourself, it's okay. You don't have to hold on so tightly. That gentle noticing, repeated over and over, softens the story, loosens the grip, and lets life flow more freely. And if this little moment of calm, of noticing, feels comforting, maybe consider subscribing. Not for answers, not for authority, but to have a gentle space, softly shared, where we can explore these whispers of freedom together, step by step, moment by moment, softly, without rushing, letting life flow as it is, letting yourself float in the quiet river of experience. Maybe by now you're noticing a subtle calm, a gentle quiet in the mind. Even when thoughts come rushing, even when feelings tug at you, there's a space, soft, patient, gentle, where you can simply notice them. You don't have to push them away. You don't have to grab them and call them me. Maybe it's okay to just watch, like sitting by a river and letting the water flow past, letting the ripples move without holding on. And when we watch like this, a quiet truth starts to appear. The I we thought was solid, the one we carried everywhere, may not be as fixed as we believed. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, they come and go. The body changes. Awareness shifts. And maybe, just maybe, the self is not a thing at all. It's a pattern, a gentle flow, a story the mind tells to make sense of experience. That's it. Nothing to grasp, nothing to defend, nothing to protect. Just noticing, softly, moment by moment. It may feel a little scary at first. You might ask yourself, if there's no solid me, who is here? Who notices? And maybe it's okay to let that question sit. No need to answer it right away. The Buddha didn't ask people to believe in answers. He invited them to look softly, patiently, clearly. And maybe freedom is right there, in that gentle looking, in the quiet noticing of experience as it unfolds, without needing to claim it. The mind loves to create stories, and that's normal. A sound isn't just a sound. It becomes my annoyance. A sight isn't just a tree. It becomes my preference. Memories rise, and the mind says, that's me, that's mine. And it's okay. You can watch it. You can notice it softly, without needing to fight it or argue with it. Let the story tell itself. Let the I tell itself. Just be the quiet space where it appears and disappears. Even your body, your feelings, your impulses, they teach the same lesson. Breathing, moving, shifting, changing. Joy comes and fades. Pain comes and fades. Thoughts arise and vanish. Awareness comes and goes. None of it is fixed. None of it is permanent. Maybe noticing this is the first taste of letting go. Maybe noticing this softly is the first whisper of freedom. And the freedom is not dramatic. It's not fireworks or cosmic revelation. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's like the sun rising slowly over a still lake. The mind doesn't need to struggle. The self doesn't need to fight. It just softens, releases, lets go. And in that soft letting go, something else appears. Space. Openness. A gentle relief. Life feels lighter, less burdened by the constant push of, I must be this, I must hold on to that. And maybe that's the key. Soft noticing, patient observing, gentle presence. Not forcing, not pushing, not grasping. Just letting the flow be moment by moment. Watching the mind tell its story, and smiling softly, without needing to be the protagonist. Letting the story happen, letting the wave move across the ocean, letting life unfold. And if this quiet noticing feels meaningful, maybe take a moment to subscribe. Not for rules, not for lectures, not for answers, but for shared quiet, for gentle reminders, for a soft space where we can explore these whispers together, because this isn't a race. It's not a goal. It's about noticing softly, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, letting life flow, letting yourself float in the river of experience. Maybe by now you've started noticing how much of life is really just flow, like a river that never stops moving, like clouds that drift across the sky. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, memories, they all rise and fall, and maybe it's okay to just watch them, gently, without needing to grasp them, without needing to make them yours. You don't have to hold on so tightly. You can just notice, softly, letting each moment come and go. The mind is clever. Even when we see that the self is just a story, it tugs, whispers, pulls. I am here, it says. You need me. Protect me. And it's okay. You can notice that whisper without fear. You can listen to it like you would a quiet voice in a room, not needing to obey it, not needing to fight it. Just noticing softly, gently. That's enough. Look at your body for a moment. Breathing, moving, changing. Every cell is new. Every heartbeat is fresh. The body isn't a fix me. It's a living process. Feeling it softly, without judgment. Noticing the rise and fall of sensations, the warmth, the tension, the ease. It's okay to just be here with it. Maybe in that gentle noticing, the grip of I softens a little more. Feelings, too, come and go. Joy, sadness, boredom, delight. They appear, linger briefly, and fade. Maybe it's okay to let them drift, to watch them without claiming them, to whisper softly, it's okay, you can come and go. Noticing the impermanence of feelings can be a kind of freedom. Maybe it's the first taste of letting go, softly, gently, moment by moment. Perceptions shift as well. Something we loved yesterday might feel distant today. Something we feared may feel harmless tomorrow. The mind likes to hold on to these perceptions and say, this is me, this is mine. And maybe it's okay to notice that tendency without needing to stop it, just watching softly, like a gentle observer, noticing the rise and fall of experience. Even thoughts and intentions, the impulses that seem to define us, arise from countless conditions beyond our control. And that's okay, too. Maybe freedom isn't about controlling all of this. Maybe it's about noticing softly, moment by moment, and letting it pass, letting it move like leaves on a stream. You don't have to be the one pushing them along. You don't have to claim them. Just notice. And consciousness itself, the knowing, the awareness, it appears and disappears depending on conditions. There's no constant I behind the scenes, no master controlling it all. Maybe it's okay to just rest in that awareness, to see it as it is, softly, without needing to make it permanent, to feel the gentle flow of noticing itself, like the quiet surface of a lake reflecting the sky. Even when the mind spins stories, even when it insists that I am here, maybe you can smile softly at it. Watch it like a play unfolding, like a river moving. The stories come, the stories go, and in the quiet spaces in between, you notice freedom. The wave is real. The ocean is real. You are real, but none of it is fixed. None of it is separate. You can just float softly in that awareness. And if this gentle noticing, this soft awareness, feels comforting, maybe consider subscribing. Not for answers, not for authority, not for rules, but for shared quiet, for soft moments of noticing, for a little space to explore life gently, together. Step by step, breath by breath, letting life flow, letting yourself float softly in the river of experience. Maybe now you've begun to notice the quiet spaces between the waves, the gaps where thoughts pause, where feelings soften, where the mind stops insisting on me. And it's okay if it feels strange. It might feel almost empty at first, like something is missing. But maybe that emptiness is not a void to fear. Maybe it's a space where life can simply breathe, where you can simply be. The mind will still tug. Old habits, old stories, old fears. They like to remind you that I is real, that I must protect itself, that I must control everything. And it's okay. You can notice them softly, without judging, without pushing, like watching a shadow move across a wall or listening to the wind rustle leaves. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to grasp it. Just notice. Even the stories we tell ourselves about our lives, the memories, the hopes, the worries, they're all part of this flowing process. The mind likes to take experience and weave it into my story, the story of me. And maybe it's okay to let it do that while you watch. You can be the quiet space, the gentle awareness, where these stories appear and disappear. You don't have to be the main character. You don't have to write the plot. You can just float softly in the noticing of it all. Breathing, moving, sensing. Everything is impermanent. Joy comes and fades. Pain comes and fades. Thoughts arise and vanish. Awareness shifts. Maybe this soft noticing, over time, becomes a kind of freedom. A gentle freedom that doesn't shout or force itself, but simply is. It's like sitting in a quiet room and realizing the room is always there, even when the furniture moves, even when the light changes. The Buddha spoke about this gently, like a guide pointing toward a door, not pushing anyone through, not asking belief, not demanding understanding, just inviting careful, soft looking, observing ethics, noticing how actions ripple out, observing concentration, watching the mind calm and steady, observing wisdom, seeing that the self we cling to is not a fixed thing. And maybe it's okay to take small steps, softly, in your own time. And when you rest in this noticing, when you stop clinging, something subtle begins to appear. Life feels a little lighter. The anxiety of needing to control, to maintain me, softens. Relationships, experiences, thoughts, they still happen, but the tight grip relaxes. Maybe it's okay to feel a little relief, a little space opening inside you, like a window left open, letting in gentle air. Even death, even endings, even the impermanence of everything. It doesn't need to frighten you. The mind may whisper, who will be here? Who will experience? And maybe it's okay to let that question sit softly, without answers. The fear itself can be noticed, allowed, breathed with. The I you once clung to is not lost. It was never solid to begin with. And maybe that's the soft liberation, waiting quietly all along. And if this gentle noticing, this soft awareness, feels meaningful, maybe consider subscribing, not for rules, not for lessons, not for instructions, but for shared quiet, for a gentle space where we can explore these whispers of freedom together, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, softly. Maybe now you're noticing the gentle quiet that comes when the mind stops insisting on me. It's not dramatic. There's no fireworks, no sudden revelation, just a soft settling, like the last ripples of a wave returning to the ocean. Thoughts come, feelings rise, experiences unfold, but there's a gentle space, soft and open, where none of it needs to be fixed, claimed, or owned. Maybe this is what freedom feels like. Life continues. Of course, the world still moves, colors still shine, people still laugh and cry. But the anxious center that says, this is about me, softens. You're not the protagonist struggling to hold the story together. You're the space in which life unfolds, The quiet stage where the scenes appear and vanish. The gentle light that allows everything to be seen clearly. You're no longer the wave trying to last forever. You're the ocean, letting waves rise and fall. And maybe that's what liberation is. Not disappearing, not nothingness, not some faraway mystical state. It's simply disentangling from the constant pressure to maintain I and mine. The grip relaxes, the tension fades. What's left is vast, quiet, open, unshaken. A softness, a lightness, a gentle breathing of life itself. And it's okay. It's more than okay. It's natural, and it's yours to notice. Even the questions about meaning, about death, about the future, they don't vanish, but they change. Without a fixed self at the center, there's no need to clutch at life or fear its passing. You see that life is a flow of moments, beautiful and fleeting. You are part of it, not separate, not in control, just fully present. Maybe it's okay to rest here, in this soft noticing, in this gentle letting go. The Buddha never asked anyone to believe anything. He simply asked us to look, to notice, to explore. You must strive yourselves, he said. The teachings are not the destination. They're the finger pointing toward the moon. And maybe the moon is not something to be caught. Maybe it's the quiet clarity you find when you stop chasing identity, when you stop needing to be me, and when you rest in the way things actually are. This soft noticing, this gentle presence, doesn't make life stop. It doesn't erase love, laughter, or joy. It doesn't make challenges vanish. But it changes how you experience them. No longer filtered through the constant narrative of I. You are not lost. You are fully here, fully alive, flowing with life, letting it unfold without clutching, without grasping, without needing to be something fixed. And maybe that's the invitation now, to pause, to breathe, to notice softly, to watch without gripping, to let the story tell itself, and to rest as the gentle awareness that witnesses it. Life is not taken from you. It is given to you moment by moment, wave by wave, breath by breath. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's exactly where freedom has been waiting all along. And if this whisper of reflection, this soft path of noticing, feels meaningful, maybe take a gentle step and subscribe. Not for rules, not for answers, but for a little shared space of quiet where we can explore softly, together, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. Life flows, and so do you, freely, gently, softly, like the ocean letting waves come and go.